Hello everybody, today we are on Proverbs chapter 20. We are reading again from the Message Bible. Wine makes you mean, beer makes you quarrelsome. A staggering drunk is not much fun. Quick-tempered leaders are like mad dogs. Cross them and they bite your head off. It's a mark of good character to avoid quarrels, but fools love to pick fights. A farmer too lazy to plant in the spring has nothing to harvest in the fall. Knowing what is right is like deep water in the heart. A wise person draws from the well within. Lots of people claim to be loyal and loving, but where on earth can you find one? God-loyal people living honest lives makes it much easier for their children. Leaders who know their business and care keep a sharp eye out for the shoddy and cheap. For who among us can be trusted to be always diligent and honest? Switching price tags and padding the expense account are two things God hates. Young people eventually reveal by their actions if their motives are on the up and up. Ears that hear and eyes that see, we get our basic equipment from God. Don't be too fond of sleep, you'll end up in the poorhouse. Wake up and get up, then there'll be food on the table. The shopper says, "That's junk, I'll take it off your hands," then goes off boasting of the bargain. Drinking from the beautiful chalice of knowledge is better than adorning oneself with gold and rare gems. Hold tight to collateral on any loan to a stranger. Beware of accepting what a transient has pawned. Stolen bread tastes sweet, but soon your mouth is full of gravel. Form your purpose by asking for counsel, then carry it out using all the help you can get. Gossips can't keep secrets, so never confide in blabbermouths. Anyone who curses father and mother extinguishes light and exists benighted. A bonanza at the beginning is no guarantee of blessing at the end. Don't ever say, "I'll get you for that." Wait for God. He'll settle the score. God hates cheating in the marketplace. Rigged scales are an outrage. The very steps we take come from God. Otherwise, how would we know where we're going? An impulsive vow is a trap. Later, you'll wish you could get out of it. After careful scrutiny, a wise leader makes a clean sweep of rebels and dolts. God is in charge of human life, watching and examining us inside and out. Love and truth form a good leader. Sound leadership is founded on loving integrity. Youth may be admired for vigor, but gray hair gives prestige to old age. A good thrashing purges evil. Punishment goes deep within us. In chapter 20, we are hitting quite a few things that Solomon has hit on before. He is doing, I think, a deeper study of human nature, both in the marketplace and its business, and then how we, what we say and how we interact with other people. I love verse 6. Lots of people claim to be loyal and loving, but where on earth can you find one? So it's that sort of opposite thing that Solomon does quite a bit, is saying, there's this, but then he cites the negative. So people constantly say that they're a good person, that they're loyal, that they're loving, and yet it turns out that you can't find somebody like that. So we tend to boast about ourselves a lot without really having the merits that we're boasting of. So I think that is something to realize and to be aware of, both in ourselves and in other people. Solomon really hits on laziness in this chapter, just pointing out truths and then giving out warnings. So if you are too lazy, again, because people were farmers back then, they grew their own food, he uses farming. If a farmer is too lazy to plant, he will have no harvest. If you are too lazy to work, you're going to have no money. So he wants to reiterate that God, if you are able-bodied and you are able-minded, you need to get out and work. That is the way that you are going to have your harvest, your bank account full. It's not saying that you don't need to rest ever. You definitely need to take care of yourself. You don't need to run yourself into the ground. But you don't need to stay in bed longer than needed, really, So then verse 22 is the last one that I'll hit up. This is a really great chapter. It just has a lot of little truths to it. But verse 22 is something that I just want to talk a little bit about. it says, "Don't ever say, 'I'll get you for that.' Wait for God, he'll settle the score." It is repeated a lot in the Bible to wait on the Lord for justice, that God is a God of justice, that he has the right timing for justice, that he is always working for justice, that he loves justice. I mean, this is just recurring. Even in Proverbs, we've seen it quite a few times as we go through it, and then it's repeated throughout the Bible. This is a difficult thing to do sometimes. This is not to say that if something happens to you where the police can be called and a trial go through, definitely do that, use the resources that God has given us. But sometimes there are things that you can't get justice for socially, and yet you want justice, and I get that. There are a couple things that I really struggled with on just wanting that person to pay. So this is kind of going back to my couple of years of just being surrounded by my victimhood. But there were legitimate reasons for why I wanted people to pay for what they had done, how they had treated me, and how their actions had affected my life. You can go into your parents. Maybe your parents were not kind. Maybe they, they're spent more time at work than paying attention to you. They were verbally abusive, or physically, or sexually, or they just only cared about themselves. Maybe they were drug addicts. Maybe they left you behind. That causes a lot of grief within you. And as you grow older, if you've never had any justice for it, it can cause you to sort of fall into that victimhood and resentment, and then to question God, like, where is my justice? So I want to encourage you in repeating that God is a God of justice. Our God is a God of justice, and he is always working towards that. Now, in order for you to see that, what he wants you to do is to come to him and to create a relationship with him. And then you can start seeing what his justice looks like. And in that process of growing closer to him, you find a peace, first of all, that you've not had when you were just fallen within yourself and your resentment and victimhood. That does not give you peace. That creates anger. You live constantly stressed out and in anger. And every time you see that person or are reminded of what they have done to you, or how it has caused your life to not go well, or how it has affected you, that anger can just explode within you. It can cause you to withdraw. It can cause depression. It can cause a lot of other anxiousness, anxiety, a lot of other different things. But it doesn't bring peace. And so as I moved into my relationship with God, and even struggled for a few years of trying to be in a relationship with him, and yet trying to hold on to my victim status, I guess. I didn't really realize that I was doing it, but I wasn't really letting go. I guess I didn't really trust God that he was going to bring justice to it. And I have to say that I might not see a sort of human justice on earth. I don't know. I might. But what I can tell you is, as I have shifted into this peace that God has given me, I almost don't care. And it's not that I don't care about whether that person gets justice. I guess I have so much peace that I completely trust God that there will be a justice. Because the person and the people who did things to me that hurt me and affected my my childhood and my adult life, I cannot imagine that they are at peace. They must be in some sort of torment. And if they're definitely not living a full life, because you cannot live a full life if you have done things that you should not have done and you've never paid for them. If you've never confronted what you were, what you have done, and asked for forgiveness. If you just try to bury it, that wreaks havoc on your life. It wreaks havoc on your health, and it will manifest itself in your life. And so as I moved into the peace, I can also say that I guess it's not that I don't care, but I trust God. I trust that He is doing something in those people's lives that will bring me justice. But at the same time, I am in such peace that I trust Him, and it's no longer this burden burning within me. I am able to move forward. I am able to look toward my future without any flare-ups of anger or anxiety. I can hear stories or hear comments or see things related to those sort of issues, that sort of abuse, and not just feel that just anxiety and anger build up within me. And that is a huge healing process. That is a huge step for me. So part of that justice, of God's justice, is your full and complete healing from whatever the person or the people have caused you. And then He moves you into a spot where you just trust Him to keep bringing you forward. And it almost becomes more important to you that you do the things that He has created you to do. I am more concerned with now moving forward and doing the things that He has created me to do. I have the ability to do it. I have the energy to do it, because I'm no longer putting aside some energy to still be angry and to hang on to the past. So I want to encourage you, if there are things in your past that you have not yet seen justice for, to keep pressing into God and to talk to Him about it, to say, hey, I would love to see this justice. Can you show me how that can happen? And can you show me how to move into your peace to the point where I can trust you that you are going to give me justice? Ask God to show you how to trust Him, that He is the God of justice, if you haven't seen anything here on earth. And He is so willing to show you what He is doing behind the scenes. He's so willing. He loves you so much to show you how He is a God of justice, that you will see that, you will start feeling that, you will start understanding things. So that is my little story for today. That is chapter 20. If you have any comments, please comment below. If you have any questions or anything you want to share, I would love to read it. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, and the little bell if you want to be notified of more things, and we will continue with chapter 21 tomorrow. See you later.